What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Spur-Spective after a couple of weeks hiatus, but we're back and we did our predictions during midweek for all the Premier League games this week. We've got our scores as it stands. It is 130 points to Simeon, 122 points to myself, and the way the scoring works, it's 5 points for a correct scoreline, 3 points for a correct result, and both teams to score 1 point for a correct result, and then there's obviously the star man as well, where me and my brother both pick a man that is playing during the weekend, and it's 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist. And yeah, let's see how close I can get to Simeon and how far back I can push back again. But let's move on to Leicester against Chelsea, which finished 3-0 to Chelsea on the day. Sim went for 3-2, I went for 1-0, so 3 points coming my way, 1 point going Simeon's way. And Chelsea were just brilliant in this game, weren't they?
Yeah, they were devastating, and you got to say they completely wiped the floor with Leicester. I've never seen them dominated so much by a side like Chelsea did on Saturday. There was completely one-way traffic throughout the whole game. The way they use their fullbacks as well, Chilwell and Reece James just wreaking absolute havoc down those wings, and just all the time getting crosses in and getting shots off and causing trouble. And it was only a matter of time before Chelsea got the goals, and they did. And I just want to say, N'Golo Kante, what an absolute peach of a goal he scored on his left foot, running from the halfway line. I mean, anything this guy can't do. It was an unbelievable goal for a DM like Kante to be scoring a goal like that. It's ridiculous, quite frankly. But it could have been more. It could have 3-0 flattered Leicester, if anything. Yeah,
completely agree. I mean, this Reece James just seems to be getting better and better and better and better. I mean, I personally think he's England's best right back at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing so well.
Because Trent, I know Trent's had a really good season so far, but I just think Reece James defensively and going forward has just been insane.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. But, you know, as well, Chelsea don't seem to be missing Werner or Lukaku at the moment, do they?
No, not at all. Since he's been out, 7-0 win and now 3-0 win?
Yeah, they've been
I know they drew one game in between then, but still. Chelsea are definitely the team to catch at the moment. 3-0 to Chelsea. Let's move on. Aston Villa against Brighton, which finished 2-0 to Aston Villa. Both of us predicting 1-1. Steven Gerrard's first game as manager for Aston Villa. How did it pan out for you?
Yeah, I was watching a bit of it. It was a very, very tight game. Obviously, Villa got 2 very late goals from Watkins and Mings. Other than that, it was a very, very close game. It could have gone either way. Brighton will feel disappointed that they got nothing out of this game, because they're definitely in control, and I wouldn't say deserved to win, but they definitely had the game under control, and it didn't look like they were going to lose. But the late goal from Watkins on a counter-attack, really great finish, and Gerrard gets his first goal win under his belt as a Villa manager, and fair play to him. It's not an easy game against Brighton, and they got the 3 points.
Yeah, but what's happened to Brighton after that? Such a solid start to the season. What a brilliant start they had to the season. I mean, they're like winning this in like about 8 games now.
Yes, the goals have dried up. XGFC is no more G's for them. I think at the moment it's just too many X's. And that's a reality for Brighton at the moment. I feel bad for them, because I still think they're playing well, but the goals have really badly dried up. They've taken Maupay out of the team for some reason. They're putting Trossard up front. Hasn't really been working. Obviously, they got a good point just before the international break away at Liverpool, but this is another setback for them.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. 0 points for us there. Burnley against Crystal Palace finished 3-3 in a ding-dong battle at Turf Moor. Sim went 2-1 to Burnley. I went 2-1 to Crystal Palace, but ultimately it was right in the middle with a 3-3 draw. Did you see any of this one?
Yeah, I was watching part of it, and it was a great game of football. I thought Burnley were really going to take it at one point, and then Palace just kept coming back, and Benteke getting a double, and then they took the lead through, I can't remember the centre-back scored, Guehi. But what a goal from Maxwell Cornet, who's playing up front he's playing up front for Burnley at the moment. He came as a left back, and he's been playing up front, and he's been scoring banger after banger, week after week in a Burnley show, which is really a turn up for the form book. But he scored an absolute peach of a volley at the back post into the roof of the net, and earning Burnley a 3-3 draw. And it's a draw they deserve, because they played pretty well, and they were going toe to toe with Palace. But when can we start talking about Benteke being back? Is he back now?
2 goals, man. 2 goals this weekend. I mean, I didn't see the goals, but
2 nice finishes.
I think pretty much in the back end of last season he's been performing, hasn't he?
That's what I'm saying. Since the back end of last season, now this season as well. I think Benteke. I was saying, when he was on a free before he signed the contract, I would have taken him.
Yeah, we both kind of agreed on that.
And now I'm even more convinced by that now. I wouldn't mind Benteke right now. He's looking like he's back to his best, and he's really starting to score goals again. And I'm happy about it, because I felt bad for him going through that long spell where the goals really dried up for him, and he was a figure of fun for a lot of fans. But I'm glad he's back into goals. He's being that striker that he used to be again.
Yeah, definitely. And, the goals were just flying in at 3 p.m, weren't they?
I think there was another 2 assists as well for Conor Gallagher.
Wow. No, 1 assist, I think it was.
Just 1 assist.
I think it was just 1 assist.
It was a nice assist, though, for the Benteke goal.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Newcastle against Brentford in another crazy game. 3-3 it finished on the day. Sim going 2-1 to Newcastle. I went 2-2, so I gained 3 points there. Sim not getting a point on the board there, but what did you make out of this one?
Yeah, it was another one where I think Brentford will be kicking themselves, because they definitely had the better of this game. They allowed Newcastle back in the game every single time. Lascelles getting a goal, and then obviously I know Max Bam got the equaliser.
And an own goal as well he got.
And Joe Linton scoring for Newcastle. I think each time it was pegging Brentford back, if I remember rightly. I think Brentford kept taking the lead.
Newcastle took the lead first and foremost. They took the 1-0 lead, and then Brentford went 2-1 up.
That was it, okay.
And then they kept pegging them back after that.
And Brentford were definitely the better team throughout. They were the ones making the running and looking like they should have won the game, missing chances. But Newcastle just kept finding something from somewhere every single time. It was a really nice volley at the back post from Max Van to get the equaliser. Obviously, Eddie Howe not on the bench for this one because of COVID, but this was his first official game in charge, and he'll probably take a point at this for his first game. But Brentford will not be happy that they've taken only a point. They should have won this game, but they did stop the rot of 5 consecutive defeats, so they'd be happy about that. But they probably will feel like they should have won this game. But Newcastle still rock bottom, with winless still, with 7 points.
Well, are they going to be the richest team ever to go down?
He's got a big job on his hands, hasn't he, Eddie Howe?
Definitely.
To keep this a lot up. Obviously, he's going to have a big January ahead of him.
However bad Newcastle have been this year, though, they score a lot of goals, don't they?
They do. They scored a lot more goals than us. It was ridiculous. They do tend to be in high-scoring affairs, Newcastle. And I think Howe will be fairly happy with this start with a point, because Brentford are a good side.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Norwich against Southampton. Finished 2-1 to Norwich on the day. We both went 1-0 to Southampton, and back-to-back wins for Norwich. First game in charge for
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith, that's the one. First game in charge for Dean Smith, and he'll be delighted with 3 points in his first game. He was talking before he took the job, or as he was taking the job, just after he took the job, that he doesn't need signings to keep this team up in the Premier League, and it's a good result for him to start off with, that's for sure.
Very good result. We both had 1-0 Southampton. They did take the lead, so you're thinking as well, once you're 1-0 down in this kind of scenario, it's going to be so hard for Norwich to G themselves back up, but they fought their way back in. Pukki just before half-time getting an equaliser. And in the second half, actually, first half was all Southampton, but second half was all Norwich. They deserved it, and there was not a surprise when they took the lead and went 2-1 up, because they were peppering Southampton in the second half, and they were the ones dominating. And Dean Smith will be delighted with that start. Will it be enough to kick them on and maybe make a claim for safety? Remains to be seen. I still don't think they have the quality, but can make a better start. And 2 wins on the trot, very impressive for Norwich.
All right, let's move on to Watford against Manchester United, which finished 4-1 to Watford at Vicarage Road, which was the final nail in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coffin, managerial coffin, that is. As we predicted, 3-1, Simeon went to Man United. I went 2-1 to Man United. but it was an absolutely disaster for Man United from start to finish.
And they missed a penalty as well.
Yeah, it was mainly a star missing a penalty 10 minutes in, and then after that, it was 2-0 by half time, and the game was pretty much done by then. Donny van den Beek scored to get one back, and then Harry Maguire got sent off, and then it was pretty much game over with Watford scoring 2 goals in the stoppage time. So credit to Watford and credit to Claudio Ranieri for a brilliant display, but it was very much helped by the lacklustre Man United.
Yeah, it definitely seemed buoyed, Watford. They were definitely first half. It was night and day between the two sides. It was as if Watford were the team chasing Champions League or whatever, and United were the relegation candidates. It was that stark, the difference. The only reprieve they had was 2 penalties missed by Saul because he had to retake it. He missed it again. It was unbelievable. But that was just the only difference. The 2 goals were very, very easy. They conceded. It was a calamity pretty much. But in the second half, once Van der Beek got a goal, United had a few opportunities to make it 2-2. Ronaldo missing a 1-on-1 against Foster, him just saving it over the bar, and a few other really, really good openings for United. And they'll be kicking themselves. They didn't take that time to get back in the game. And once they missed those chances, and then the Maguire sending off comes, and what an absolute calamity that was, overrunning the ball right outside the penalty area and then gets tackled and then he has to bring him down. A ridiculous red card. And that was pretty much the end, and then it was for shambles and 4-1. And I think, look, we all knew it was a long time coming, Ollie getting sacked by Man United. After we thought it was going to happen against Liverpool, it didn't happen then. Against Man City, he got another dismal performance, but when it's happening against Watford, then you got to start thinking, all right, this is really not working. When you're getting battered 4-1 by Watford, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
And here we are. And looks like it could be a blessing they needed, because maybe they're going to get Poch, but it's definitely what they needed is to get rid of Ollie, because it just wasn't working.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think of his farewell interview?
I thought that was so strange, man. I thought that was so strange. I mean, I've never seen a manager like that come out on the club's official YouTube channel and do an interview after he's been sacked. It was like
very odd, yeah.
It was so strange.
But I guess because he's a club legend or whatever, but it's still a bit weird.
Still a club legend or no club legend, it was very, very peculiar.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a bit strange as well, but I guess maybe they wanted to do something nice. I don't know.
And what else I found funny was during the midweek, during the international game, after Maguire's ear-cupping celebrations against Albania, you know what I mean, scoring 2 goals, once against Albania, once against San Marino. Man United fans were absolutely up in arms with that celebration, and Roy Keane pointed it out, and rightfully so. And then he goes and does that against Watford. So
exactly. It's like, honestly, it's the most stupid thing to do, to cup your ear and then do that. Honestly, it's ridiculous. And yeah, that's it really. But it's poetic that the last goal scored under Solskjaer was Donny van den Beek.
Yeah, very poetic. Very poetic. But look, let's move on. Wolves against West Ham finished 1-0 to Wolves on the day. Sim going 2-2. I went 1-1. But Wolves again pulling through with another great victory. It really was, with Raul Jimenez back in the goals as well, which is always good to see.
Yeah, really nice goal as well, right on the edge of the area, side foot into the corner. Fabianski, no chance, and Wolves deserved it. I thought they played really, really well. It was a close game. West Ham were definitely in it, but it was one of those where one goal was going to decide it, and Wolves got it, and West Ham had no answer. And big blow probably for them, for West Ham, if they had hopes of being a Champions League contender. These games you've got to really take advantage of, and it's all well and good beating Liverpool, but if you follow up with a defeat to Wolves of a week later, you've got to get a draw or something out of the game. If you get a defeat like that, that shows maybe they're not quite ready yet to make that step up.
And it reminds me of like us when we were going for top 4 and not quite making it. You know, we'd have a really good result and then follow it up with a bad result. Mm-hmm. And it just reminds me of like us back then, really.
Yeah, just not quite having the consistency.
Yeah. All right, the last game on the Saturday was Liverpool against Arsenal, which finished 4-0 to Liverpool at Anfield. Sim went 4-2, I went 3-1, so both of us getting a point on the board for this one. But the way
got the 4 right.
Yeah, got the 4 right, just didn't get the 2 right. But in terms of the way the game went, I thought Liverpool were clearly by far the better side in the first half. But I thought Arsenal pretty much handled themselves pretty well defensively, and you couldn't put too much blame on Arsenal. Just Liverpool with dynamite, weren't they? But second half came and it was just normal service has resumed for Arsenal. That left back that they've got, Tavares, just literally just kept passing it to Liverpool, kept passing it over and over again to Liverpool.
He had such a good first half, Tavares, and then he just fell apart in the second half.
Yeah, it seems as though like they just came out the blocks in second half and they just shut the bed, really.
Yeah, they didn't know
what it was.
They couldn't keep up any sort of standard, and they couldn't get any protection. To be fair, the best player for Arsenal in the first half anyway was Ramsdale. So,
mate, Ramsdale was brilliant throughout the whole game. He was probably man of the match, and he conceded 4 goals.
Exactly. I'm saying in the first half when Arsenal were in the game, their best player was Ramsdale. Yeah. So it wasn't exactly like they were threatening Liverpool too much. It was just maybe keeping him at bay.
Yeah.
And then once Liverpool got the goal, it was only going to be one winner, and they came out and absolutely annihilated Arsenal in that second half. And it showed maybe how much work Arsenal still have to do if they're going to start competing against these top sides. It's all well and good winning against teams who are off form or who don't have a manager and all this kind of stuff, which it's very impressive for you doing consistently, but they've come up against a proper side and they haven't just slightly been beaten. They've been absolutely annihilated, and that's got to be a cause for concern for them.
Yeah, I mean, I always I never really bought into this Arsenal hype for the last 10 games. Yes, it's impressive to go unbeaten for 10 games. I'm not saying that. It's highly impressive to go unbeaten for 10 games. But when you look closer into it and see the actual teams that they played, I think any team that have been on any sort of form or have any real quality about them, they've dropped points with this season. The first 3 games of the season, they got completely annihilated 3 games in a row. And on that run, in the 10-game unbeaten run, the 2 teams that had a bit of form or a bit of quality in Crystal Palace and Brighton, they dropped points to. And apart from that, they've played teams who are in the relegation zone or had their manager sacked a game or 2 after. So I don't read too much into the Arsenal form, to be fair, and I thought they showed their true colours again on the weekend. So music to all of our ears, that's for sure. But let's move on to the Sunday games. And the first one was Manchester City against Everton, which finished 3-0 to Man City. Sim getting it absolutely spot on with 5 points on the board. I got 3 points on the board and another bloody late goal to give you the 5 points.
Bernardo Silva saving, and he's in my fantasy team as well, so double whammy for me. Loved it. But look, very good win for Man City. Solid 3 points. Starting with Carlton Palmer as well in the
well, not Carlton Palmer, Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer, sorry, not Carlton Palmer.
Carlton Palmer was that old
Crystal
Palace or Southampton player.
No, he was Man United. Wasn't he Man United?
Maybe very early on, but that's not where he made his name.
Yeah, so Palmer playing the youngster, and obviously he had a pretty good showing as well, and so that was a pretty good win. Everton still on a bad run now, aren't they? Not playing particularly well, and it was a pretty easy day for Man City.
Yeah, definitely, and that assist from Cancelo, man.
Oh man, yeah,
that assist from Cancelo was insane. It really
and
was.
Rodri with an absolute beauty as well.
Yeah,
2 really nice goals.
Cancelo has really stepped up a notch this season, hasn't he? Absolutely, what a player!
You give him time. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a left back who's right-footed, but like if you give him time and space, will just put it on a sixpence. I've never seen a guy like they talk about inverted wingers, like inverted fullback cutting inside and just getting assists after assists.
He's just as comfortable as right on the left. You know what I mean?
I know, but I'm just saying. But I've never seen you don't see it often for a winger getting so many assists from cutting inside.
Yeah,
it barely happens.
I know.
But Cancelo's one of a kind.
He really is. He really is. And let's move on to the last game of the weekend. Was Tottenham against Leeds. Finished 2-1 to Spurs. Sim getting another 5 points on the board, saving his week in the last 2 games. And I went 2-0, so I only get 1 point on the board. And yeah, Spurs. Game of 2 halves. I mean, we've covered it at length, so not too much more to say on it. But we were poor in the first half, and we got much better in the second half.
Turned it around. Reguilon with the winner, and I think Conte will be happy with how he was able to get his message across in that half time and G up the team and get us to turn it around, because we dominated that second half. So all good there.
Yeah, and we move over to the star man. I went for Harry Kane, who got 0 points, nothing on the board, but he did have a fairly good display. So I was disappointed that he couldn't get a goal or assist. And Sim went for Cristiano Ronaldo, who got himself an assist in a 4-1 defeat to Watford. So count yourself a bit lucky in that one. But you get a point there for Cristiano Ronaldo. So this week finishes with a 10-point gap. I mean, I cut it to bloody 3 or 4 points, and now it's out to 10 points again. But it just shows how the points are easily made up. So 143 to Sim, 133 to me. We'll see you back on Friday or Thursday for another episode of Predict the Prem. But that's it for this week. Simeon is in the lead by 10 points. We'll see you all next time. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.